All right. Good to have a breath as a foundation of our meditation. One of the reasons that we focus on the breath as our foundation of the meditation is to give us a good place to stand. Lots of different emotions, lots of different ideas that come washing through the mind. And if you don't have some place outside of the mind where you can take your stance, you get washed away. The greed comes in, anger comes in, the fear comes in, and they can be overwhelming if you don't have a place to stand outside of them, right? So we focus on the breath as a way of getting outside of this greedy, anger, and fears, emotion, to realize you don't have to take over totally. We can have at least one corner of our awareness where they are not ranging and strong. If you are a long time meditation practitioner, you see that not only the breath gives you a place to stand, it also gives you some ammunition to use against these things. When the anger comes, when the fear comes, part of the power comes from the way that they change the process of the body. Your hormones get poured into your bloodstream. Your heart beats a lot faster. Your stomach tighten up. And when you both your mind and your body are taken over by emotion like that, the only response that seems possible is just to give in. But you don't have to give in. You can work with your breath to counteract at least the physical side of emotion, regardless of what's happening in the mind. You can still breathe calmly. In fact, this is an important way of retraining yourself. Even though scary thoughts that are coming through the mind, you can still breathe calmly. They don't need to have such a total impact. So while we are meditating right now, it's good to gain practice in being sensitive to what kind of breathing feels good and where the different parts of the body are getting caught in the unskillful energy patterns. It is one of the reasons why I really understand why my mom's teach us has to focus on the center of the breath, the middle of the head. Yeah. the palate, the base of the throat, and the middle of the chest, because they tend to be trigger points. Once a trigger point has been engaged, everything else seems to seize up as well. If you keep the trigger points relaxed, open, at ease, then the other physical reaction do not happen. That way, your body can be an ally against this emotion instead of just simply being part of the victim or dragged over to other side. Being sensitive to the breath also really helps. You can observe when these things are just beginning to creep up your, because sometimes they don't come in full blast. They creep up a little bit and then they build and build and build. If you are distracted, thinking about something else or aware of something else, you don't observe what's happening until they have taken over, right? This is why we emphasize being sensitive to that body, not only while you are sitting here in a meditation, but also as you go through your day. If you know that you have particular trigger points, keep your awareness center on them. Keep those spots open regardless. I think your first order of the business is no matter what happens, keep those spots open so the body doesn't get triggered. So if something does start creeping in, you will notice it immediately and you find that these emotions are a lot easier to deal with because it's not strong, it's still weak when you catch them right at the very beginning before the trigger get the hormones before they trigger the physical reaction, because otherwise when those reactions are triggered, you simply have to write them out, and that may take a while. Of course, when the body starts reacting, the anger seems constant. It seems to be there all the time. Actually, it's not be there all the time. You don't have to worry that in advance. It only comes and goes. But the physical reactions seem to be constant, and they give the impression that the anger is still there. Maybe the thought that triggered those reactions is long gone. But when you see the reactions continuing and continuing, then you think, wow, emotion must still be. And that's how you dig it back up again. You're giving it more power than it really needs to have, or it has more it actually has. So you have to understand that even the physical reaction is still happening. The mental trigger have been long gone, and you don't have to dig it back up again. You're just riding out the after effect of the emotions. As long as you have determined not to be overcome, not to be swayed by these things, you are okay. You just put yourself in the position where you can start looking at them as a process. And it's very often that we find that the fear or anger or on others unskillful emotions come into the meditation from holding all to it, laying claim to the things that simply leave you exposed, particularly the relationships, a particular job, particular way of doing things, your body, as long as You continue to lay claim to those things. You are open to danger. You are open to difficulties. So you have to remind yourself, these things are not me, not you, not yours. These things are not mine. As you pursue the issue, you find that it often comes down to fear of death, especially if you are in the physical dangers. You do what you can do to protect yourself, but you also have to remember that you have got your precept. You have got to protect them. You should remember about your precept, and you try very hard to maintain it, and you're able to maintain it. This is should be the thing come first in your mind if you have some difficulty. There are there are limitations on what you can do to protect yourself physically and still maintain the skillfulness of the mind. When we have a big picture, or a big sense of I, me, my, yours, ours, that kind is make a mental fabrication more complicated. If thinking about if the body get killed, thinking if the body get aged, those kind of thinking is come and take over when we think that this is me, this is you, this is my life. It's getting worse and it's never end. This is our limitations. So if you're able to skillfully think the opposite, this is not your, this is not my, this is not me, not I, then the fabrication, mental fabrication will not complicated. And that helps the meditation a lot. Glad to have all of you sharing your peaceful mind, happy mind, healthy mind to all being. May all being be wealthy. May all being be prosperous. May all being be healthy. May all being be out of danger. May all being free from the suffering. Sapphe satta avera hotu. Apaya pacha hotu. Anika hotu. Sukhi atanang pariharantu. Thank you very much for joining this class. I wish you all having a great night. We'll see you next time.